Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I guess today is your one-year anniversary of being
It is
Secretary
indeed.
of Agriculture. Congratulations, Mr. Secretary. Thank you for visiting my state earlier this month. We're proud of our Agriculture Secretary, as I think everybody in this committee would say that about their state. I'm particularly pleased that you visited Central State University, the nation's newest 1890 land grant. It was a long time coming. It should have happened earlier. President Jackson Hammond and her team are making us proud. So it meant a lot, substantively and symbolically, that you went there. So thank you for that. At your confirmation hearing, we talked about one of the most pressing agricultural and environmental issues affecting my state of Ohio. And that's harmful algae blooms in the western basin of Lake Erie. As I pointed out, Lake Erie near Toledo is only 30 feet deep, contrasted with Lake Superior being 60 feet deep, and Lake Superior is fed by mostly forested land. Lake Erie in the Toledo Basin is fed by the largest drainage basin, if you will, 4 million acres, with lots of agriculture, lots of people, lots of commercial and industrial development. Between a combination of programs like USDA and EPA and the GLRI, we're making strides. There's obviously still much to do, yet efforts in the House to slash conservation funding in the next Farm Bill won't help Ohio farmers, most of whom are committed to significantly reduce runoff, and they rely on the longstanding partnership within RCS and FSA. You know all this. I wanted to emphasize it. Senators Ernst and Grassley and Casey and I recently introduced the GROW Act to make a number of improvements to conservation programs. The part of the bill that holds significant potential for improving water quality in Lake Erie, the shallowest lake, is the Clean Lakes, Estuaries, and Rivers program to better target CRP spending in the continuous program. And the USDA already has some authority to implement these targeted practices today. My first question is, what is USDA's plan to implement these targeted practices in the western basin of Lake Erie, and does the administration support codification of the CLEAR program?
Well, certainly what our educational programs and nutrient management and helping with detection. We were at Penn State, and there's some new technology coming on over being able to have on the farm measurements of phosphorus and nitrogen runoff from there, cover crops and no-till practices and those kinds of things is what NRCS is working on, our best conservation efforts, and help to reduce the nutrient runoff into the waterways.
Okay, and we thank you. And we need your strong voice and continued support on that, on conservation program funding, on GLRI. The administration has made more than noises, has attempted to cut GLRI. Senator Portman and I and other Great Lakes senators, including around this table, and both parties have fought back against it. In 2016, I worked with Senators Donnelly and Stabenow and USDA on a special initiative in the western Lake Erie Basin. The program targeted producers who wanted to take steps to reduce runoff at their farms. It's my understanding that funding for this program has ended. We can't walk away. Will you commit to finding additional resources for this critical water quality program?
I will commit to looking.
Okay. Looking really aggressively?
Very aggressively,
Okay.
Senator.
All right. It's important, as I said, it's important to, on this side of the table, Senator Donnelly has part of Lake Erie, and Senator Stabenow has four of the 5 Great Lakes in her state. Last question.
My answer is limited by the fact that I don't know what the quantification of that dollar's worth. I'll have to look at that and see.
Okay. We will follow up.
We don't want to lose out or drop back from where we were moving on the momentum.
Okay. Last question. You have talked about improving customer service. I know you want to. I know, though, that it's not exactly worked that way. Dozens and dozens of unfilled positions in rural development and FSA and NRCS. In my state, Senator Stabenow's mentioned similar problems in Michigan. I've held roundtables. I do a lot of ag roundtables. John McCracken in my office has done dozens of them this year alone. We always do that in preparation for the Farm Bill. He and I both, and it's taken longer. We hear from farmers to get contracts approved. It's taken longer for farmers to get some out on their farm when that wasn't a problem not that long ago. With the new improvements to the dairy program, which matters in a lot of our states, we need staff in these offices that have the expertise and knowledge to make sure family farms stay in business. You know all that. So how do we square longer wait times or farmers not to deciding not to participate in these programs with your touted improved customer service? How are we? When are these vacancies going to be filled?
We're moving on that, Senator. I'm not sure the situation is quite as dire as you described because we get feedback continually over our offices. We hear a lot of conversation from our employees about needing more help, but we don't get that much directly from farmers, and I'm out here asking on a continual basis in that regard. I felt compelled to wait until we had a undersecretary in place to give me a strategic hiring plan about where we needed people, the right place, the right time in that, and we've authorized that. You'll see those positions being filling. But if you have specific constituent complaints about not feeling like they're getting customer service, I want to know about them, and we will deal with them directly and personally.
I will hand them over. Thank you.